It's Game Time Madness in March!
That's right, folks. Now, I know many of you haven't left your TV for very long in the past several weeks for the tournament, and we are glad you still haven't left because we're here to bring you up to date on all of the Ashland sports.
I'm Travis Apple, and he's Brian Vale, and this is Game Time Situation. We will bring you up to date on all Ashland University athletics.
I still can't believe spring break is over and Easter is almost here.
You're telling me. That means I'm graduating in about a month. Yikes! Anyways, since the last show, the winter sports teams ended their seasons NCAA championship style, and the spring sports teams are just getting underway.
Along with all of that coverage, the new CW Chip Whipple will also be back, and he'll bring another AU athlete under the Game Time spotlight.
Well, we probably don't want to talk much more about what we're actually going to talk about because it's game time. Woo! The Ashland University men's swimming team was pretty busy over break as they competed in the NCAA Division II championships held in Buffalo, New York. Ashland was represented very well as several of the athletes came away with All-American awards. On Wednesday night, senior Omar Fatala became the sixth swimmer in AU history to win a national championship.
He's been on the spotlight. He
has been, former Game Time Spotlight participant. Fatala won the 50-yard freestyle in a time of 20:30. He was also the first swimmer to win a gold medal since 1998 and the first male swimmer since 1996. The next day, Fatala garnered his second award by placing 10th in the 100 butterfly with a time of 49.84. Freshman Jesper Madsen was 16th in the 400 IM at 4 minutes 14 seconds. On the third day, Fatala once again had a big day as he placed 5th in the 200 backstroke with a time of 1 minute and 50 seconds. On the final day, the Eagles picked up a few more championships as once again, Fatala rounded out a great week with a 9th place finish in the 100 freestyle at 45.45.
Breathe.
Madsen was 5th in the 2000 breaststroke at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. And for the week, Fatala finished with 3 All-American awards and 7 for his career. That's pretty good. Madsen finished with 2. Now, obviously, the men did pretty well. How did the women swim, Vale?
Well, Trav, the women's team also headed to Buffalo for their national meet on March 15th, and several Eagles received awards for their efforts in New York. Freshman Jenny Janssen had a big weekend as she took 13th in the 1000 freestyle and 7th in the 400 IM, both good enough to get All-America honors. The 200 medley team also received All-America honors as Emily Hilgert, Megan Dort, Brittany Rode, and Ashley Shute made up the unit. Dort also earned All-America honors for her performance in the 100 breaststroke. And on the final day of the meet, it was Janssen once again taking All-America for her 200 backstroke time. As a team, the Lady Eagles finished 21st in the meet, and Trav and I would like to put out congratulations to all the swimmers on a great season.
Now, much like the swimming team, the men's and women's indoor track teams also had a pretty busy spring break as they are in competition in Boston, Massachusetts for the NCAA Division II championships. It was a 2-day event starting on Friday, March 9th and ending on Saturday. Ashland sent 13 athletes to compete and were able to come away with 1 national championship and 2 second-place finishes. Not bad. The men's team ended up finishing in a tie for 5th place with 36 points, which was the 13th time in school history that the men's team placed in the top 10. On Thursday evening, senior thrower Kibwe Johnson was recognized as the NCAA Division II Male Field Athlete of the Year. The recognition on one night led to a big weekend for Johnson as he won the national championship in the weight throw and broke his own collegiate record in the process. He unleashed a throw of 82 feet, 3.5 inches. The throw surpassed his previous record of 79 and 10 inches, which he set earlier this season. The weight throw was a big event for Ashland, and second place went to Robert Clank, who had a throw of 65.5. Third place also went to AU as junior Brian Vickers won it with a throw of 63.2. On Saturday, Vickers was able to win the silver in the shot put. He was the defending national champion, and he had a throw of 59.11. Former Game Time Spotlight participant junior Brian Ryman earned a 5th place finish in the 200 meters with a time of 21.61. Were the women able to run their ways to some medals?
The women's track team went to their national meet in Boston on March 10th, placing well with their Division II counterparts. The Lady Eagles took 8th place overall as Jen Tinney finished 4th in the shot put, Amber Miller took 5th in the 60-meter hurdles, and Joanne Douglas placed 6th in the long jump. Jennifer Pacucci took 8th in the event.
Hello. He's here. Well, from running to grappling, the Ashland University team set 5 individuals to the NCAA Division II Wrestling Championships in Kearney, Nebraska on March 9th and 10th. Senior Eric Lakea was the only AU wrestler making a return appearance to the Nationals, as it was his 3rd time. Senior Tony Iovine, senior Matt Allen, sophomore Justin Ferguson, and freshman David Crowley were all making their first appearance. Now on day 1, Lakea, wrestling at 165 pounds, was the only AU wrestler to start off the meet with a W, as he won 7-5 over Mitch Norton from Upper Iowa, who at the time was ranked 3rd in the country. Lakea then followed it up with a 12-5 decision over Evan Copeland of Adams State, all on day 1. Also on the first day, Ivine was defeated by Yasim Bribisha of Nebraska Omaha 6-3 in the 141-pound class. His hopes for advancement ended when he was pinned later by Nebraska Kearney's Jeff Rutledge in 7 minutes.
Tough draw there, having to face the hometown guy.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Home mat, home court advantage. Ferguson also lost his first bout at 174 as Pitt Johnstown's Eli Garsnick defeated him 11-7. However, Ferguson bounced back to pin Minnesota Mankato's Tim Matheson in 55 seconds. He had no chance. Matt Allen dropped a 7-0 verdict to Nebraska Kearney's Matt Farrell at 184. And at 197, Crowley lost to Augustana's Nate Byes 7-0. Not to be confused with the music group Augustana in Boston.
Right, well, that's where the track team was.
Right.
Okay.
Not the wrestling team. They're in Nebraska. Anyways, Vale, how did the rest of the meet fare for the Eagle Grapplers?
On the final day of the championships, Lakea was able to finish 4th at 165 pounds to earn his first All-American championship. He was on the Game Time Spotlight. His first loss in the meet came on Saturday as Chadron State's Brett Hunter defeated him 4-2. Lakea quickly rebounded as he pinned Blake Peterson in 5 minutes and 48 seconds. In the battle for 3rd, Nathan Baker of Minnesota State Moorhead defeated him 5-3. Lakea ended his season with a 26-6 record. After going 1-1 on Friday, Ferguson won 7-5 over Daniel Morrison of Central Oklahoma, but was then defeated by Matt Weingart of Chadron State 4-1. In his final bout, Mercyhurst Zach Schaefer defeated Ferguson 6-2. Ferguson took 7th as he completed his season at 13-10.
Well, basically, we don't have the Madden jinx, like, the Madden video game covers, because a lot of their Game Time Spotlight participants did pretty well in the NCAA Division II championships. Anyway, isn't it great to be able to sit here in front of our loyal fans and talk about the Ashland sport teams competing in the D2 National Championships? This show is just getting started, but we need to take a quick timeout. But don't go too far. Chip Whipple has another AU athlete under the Game Time Spotlight next.
Hi, Mr. President. My parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
Not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president. But it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
My name's Andy McDonald. I ride this useless wooden toy for a living. It's hard. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm still lame. I do a trick called a 540. Took me a good 6 years to learn. There's a whole generation of skateboarders out there that are just as talented athletically as any basketball or football player. It takes somebody that's not going to be afraid to fall down a lot, because you definitely will fall down. You're not a failure until you refuse to get back up. Drugs are only going to hinder what I'm trying to do. That right there is my idea of getting high.
You're a good driver, a careful driver, and you don't stand a chance. Not at a railroad crossing with bad sight lines and no lights or gates, where vegetation, buildings, or hills block your view, where you can't see the train and you only have seconds before it hits your safe, careful self and you die. Go to angelsontrack.org to report dangerous crossings, because careful is just no match for a 200-ton locomotive.
Kids, how do we take care of our teeth?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day. If you want healthy teeth, do this every day. Brush your teeth.
Fight tooth decay.
Floss your teeth.
Don't forget
get regular dental checkups, okay?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day.
Welcome back. Now, since it's springtime, I'm sure everyone knows what that means. If not, I'll tell you. It's diamond season. And no, girls, that doesn't mean you're getting nice diamonds from that special someone, but the baseball and softball teams are now in action. The baseball team traveled to Fort Myers, Florida, pretty nice, for 18 games over spring break. The team struggled to find consistency as they won 3 of the first 5 contests, but then lost 6 of the next 7, followed by a 4-game win streak to end the trip. On March 8th, the Gene Cusick Classic got underway as Ashland took on Assumption, winning 15-1. AU had 18 hits as center fielder Tyson Rowland and third baseman Justin Richards each had 3. Jeff Yates had a triple and 4 RBIs. Todd Schlenkerman went 5 innings, striking out 7, picking up the W. The next day, the Eagles played a doubleheader against Seton Hill.
Not Seton Hall?
Not Seton Hall,
All
Seton
right.
Hill. Splitting the pair. In the first game, Dan McGinnis went 6 innings as AU won 10-5. The win was McGinnis' second of the season. The second game went to Seton Hill 9-6 as shortstop Casey Jerza had 3 hits, including 2 doubles in the loss. North Dakota was next for AU on March 10th. The Eagles were down 4-2 in the 7th inning when Jerza hit a 2-run homer to tie the game. In the bottom of the 8th, Richards had a 2-run single to give Ashland a 6-5 lead. Simon Liston picked up the win, recording 4 outs. Ashland was about to take a step up in competition as Central Missouri State was next, and they were ranked 10th in the nation. AU was shut out 4-0, recording 6 hits. Josh Davidson threw a complete game, allowing 10 hits. Westchester also played in the D2 World Series in 2006, and the top 2 teams faced on March 12th. Westchester took an early lead, going up 5-2 in the 7th inning. However, Ashland tied the game, only to see the Golden Rams score in the bottom of the 10th to win 6-5. Ben Menard threw 7 innings, allowing 5 runs. Rowland had 3 hits to lead the offense. Southwest Minnesota State beat Ashland on March 13th, 8-7 in 10 innings. AU had 15 hits, but it wasn't enough. Schlenkerman threw 8 strong innings, striking out 11 batters. Richards had 3 hits. Now, how did the rest of the Eagles' spring break go?
Well, Trav, East Stroudsburg was next on the schedule for AU, and the doubleheader saw ESU win 11-6 before Ashland came back to take the nightcap 7-6. Tom Abbott went 4 innings, allowing 7 runs in the first game. And in the second game, the Eagles had to come back late once again. This time, they tied this game at 6 in the 7th and then won it in the 8th. Liston went 2 innings, picking up the win. Ashland lost to Nebraska-Omaha in 13-4 the next day as Omaha scored 6 runs in the 5th inning. Jersa homered to lead the offense. March 15th saw the Eagles face 2 teams they'd already met in Florida. Westchester beat AU for the second time 6-3 as Rowland had 3 hits and Davidson went 8 innings. Westchester scored 3 runs in the 9th inning to get the win. AU got revenge on Nebraska-Omaha, however, winning 4-3. Yates had an RBI single to tie the game in the 9th, and then Rowland drove in Yates to get the walk-off win. Richards had 2 hits, including a home run. Boom. Menard threw a complete game, allowing 8 hits, and with so many games in such a short period of time, pitching became a chore for the team. Chore on the shore for the teams playing in the Classic. AU met Mansfield on March 16th. Mansfield in Pennsylvania, not.
I was say, why did we go to Florida to play Mansfield?
It's in Pennsylvania, and that proved that the Eagles could win a high-scoring game as they won 22-17. Yates had 4 hits, driving in 7 runs. Freshman Quentin Everhart hit 2 home runs and also had 7 RBIs. And Jersa had 3 hits, including a home run and a double. Rowland scored 5 times. The next day saw a 16-10 win for Ashland over North Dakota as Yates continued his hot hitting with 4 hits and 5 RBIs. Jacob Petcock hit a home run and drove in 4 runs. Richards got the win going 6 innings, allowing 4 earned runs. AU finished the trip with a game against Slippery Rock. The Eagles won 10-4 as Schlenkerman went 7 innings, allowing 3 runs on 5 hits. Jersa, once again, had 3 hits, a double, a triple, and a homer.
That's pretty good. Well, now, unfortunately, the Eagles had to travel back to Ohio. However, with temperatures nearing the 60s, AU and Northwood got together for a triple-header at Dons Field as the doubleheader was rained out on Saturday. The teams decided to try to get 3 games in on Sunday, and Eagles starting pitcher Josh Davidson all but made sure the teams would play all 3 in daylight with an outstanding performance. The senior went all 7 innings, allowing 6 hits and 2 runs in the first game. He struck out 5 and walked just 1. Davidson closed out the game after just an hour and 31 minutes. Quickie. Jeff Yates, who homered to left field in the 4th inning, led AU's offense. In the 3rd, Yates started a 1-out rally with a base hit. Casey Jerza doubled to drive in Yates, tying the game at 1. Justin Richards followed that with a single, scoring Jerza. Freshman Jacob Petcock singled, and then Eric Zatlin was hit by a pitch loading the bases. Ron Onison hit a sac fly to center field, putting AU up 3-1. Northwood tried to get back into the game in the 6th as the Timberwolves put together a single and a walk with 1 out. However, after a flyout, designated hitter Justin Ford singled to make the score 4-2. Davidson then struck out Ben Schock to end the threat. Petcock went 3 for 3, while Yates and Jersey each had 2 hits. How did the other 2 games on the day go, Vale?
Well, they went as well as the first one. In the second game, it was the Eagle offense that would shine. In the bottom of the second, AU's bats came alive. Richards led off with a single, followed by walks by Petcock and Zatlin. Davidson singled to drive in Richards, tying the game. Onison drove in 2 runs with a base hit. Chris Haycox walked, and Tyson Rowland doubled to score 2 more runs. Starter Mike Capuano was knocked from the game at this point, giving way to Andrew Van Zumeren. Yates greeted him with a single, scoring Haycox, and then Jersa walked. Richards had an RBI single. Petcock walked. Zatlin followed with another walk, with Jersa crossing the plate.
So do you think they just, hi, we're Ashland, we're going to hit you all over the place?
It's like a parade. Davidson was then hit by a pitch, and then Onison grounded back to the pitcher. So they finally getting out as Van Zumeren threw home for the first out of the inning. However, catcher Kyle Schaefer's throw to first went into right field, allowing 2 runs to score on the bouncer back to the mound. Van Zumeren retired the next 2 batters to end the innings. In all, the Eagles scored 12 runs in the second as 14 consecutive batters reached base.
That's pretty good.
The final score would be 17-3 as Todd Schlenkerman picked up his 4th win in 4 decisions, went 5 innings, allowing 8 hits and 2 runs. He struck out 4. Matt Schultz and Jeremy Sloan each went 1 inning, allowing a hit apiece. And Ashland had 13 hits for the game, as Richards had 3 of those for the Eagles. Davidson and Onison each had 2 hits and 3 RBIs, and Richards and Davidson each scored 3 times. Now, after a 1-2-3 first in the third game, AU came to the plate, and this time Eric Debo was the victim of the Eagle attack. Rowland doubled to start the inning and was eventually driven in on a Jersa sac fly. Richards singled, Petcock was hit, Zatlin walked, and then Davidson walked. That's a lot of walks and hit by pitches and then just hits. And Davidson drove in the second run of the frame. Ben Menard allowed a leadoff home run to start the second inning for AU, but after that he was solid, allowing just 2 hits over the next 4 innings. In the second inning, AU's offense struck once more. Haycox singled, Rowland walked, and Yates singled, scoring Haycox. Jersa followed with an RBI single. You're getting the idea here. And Richards drove in Yates on a fielder's choice. The Eagles scored 3 bases in the inning, taking a 5-1 lead. Menard moved 3-0 as he went 6 innings in the 6-2 win. He gave up 5 hits and 2 runs, striking out 4. Dan McGinnis pitched the 7th for Ashland, and AU goes back on the road this weekend, traveling to West Virginia State for 2 doubleheaders. They will play 10 straight road games before coming back to Donzas for a 9-game homestand beginning April 10th against Malone. Eagles are now 14-8, having won 7 games in a row.
Well, now the Eagles baseball team is obviously off to a pretty good start, largely in part due to senior infielder Casey Jersa. Now, Jersa has been able to fight off a lot of full count breaking balls, has been able to hammer home some high heat. But he might be up against his toughest challenge in his college career as the big righty Chip Whipple takes the mound. That's right, folks. Casey is under the Game Time spotlight with Chip. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with AU senior baseball player Casey Jersa. Thanks for being here, Casey.
Thanks, Chip.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Now, the team just got back from their annual Florida trip that they take early in March. How would you guys rate how you did this season?
Well, I think we had a rocky start to start off the trip. Actually, in Bellarmine, we went 3-1, which was a good start to our season. We got down there and beat up on Assumption pretty bad, so that was a good start. And then, however, we fell in a little bit of a tumble there. And, you know, towards the end, we came together and we started to play better as a team. I think we showed signs of what we're capable of and what we should be capable of. And I think we have a great team this year. And, you know, we're on a good streak right now, and let's hope we keep it going.
Now, this past Sunday, you played a triple-header, a little bit unheard of, but you played a triple-header on Sunday. Against Northwood, you won all 3. How good was it to be back home and get 3 GLIAC wins to start the season?
And usually I'd tell you it's not very fun to be back home after coming back from Florida. It's usually snowing or raining or, you know, this Ohio weather, we get 30 degrees. But however, it's about 60, 70 degrees, and it was awesome to be home at our home field, you know, in front of a great crowd. We had a lot of people that showed up for this game, and you know, it was a bit unusual playing a triple header, but it was a lot of fun, and it was good to come away with 3 wins to start off the GLIAC conference on the right note.
Now, last season, you guys made it to the Division II College World Series. You lost in an extra inning game that pretty much the team that was going to lose that game, they were just going to be drained for the next game, and that's what happened to you guys. You lost the next game, and then you were out of the tournament. How can you take what can you learn from last year that you can put into this year's season?
Hopefully everything goes right and we make it back there like we all hope for, and that's one of our goals, to make it back to the World Series. So if we get back to the World Series, I think one thing is, you have to win, those first 3 games, because if you don't, then you go in that loser's bracket or whatnot. You have to turn around and play the next day, which, like you said, that was about what really hurt us. We were real tired and had to bounce back that next day in the 100-degree heat. So I think the main thing is, we got a lot of experience. We have a lot of returners, and I think that helps. So the main thing is just to get back, and I think, we have the experience that we know we got to win those games, and that should help a lot.
Now, you personally have had a great beginning to the season. You're leading the GLIAC in, I think, 7 offensive categories. How have you come to have this success this year?
I think one is just experience again. I've grown as a player over the past couple years. Had a good freshman year and then played hurt my sophomore year and didn't have quite as great a year as I hoped, and then just really said, this is the time I got to shine. Junior year, and had a great year, and I think I just, fundamentally kept sound and gone through a bunch of drills that have helped me keep on top of my game and just go up there with a lot of confidence and knowing that I have to be a big leader and a big part of this team to help us succeed. And I think that's just helped give me the drive to keep on going.
Now, overall, what is your own personal goal? What do you want to achieve as a baseball player this spring?
Me, I'm a big team player. Sure, yeah, it's nice to have all those personal stats and lead in categories and everything like that, but sure, I'd like to keep that success and lead in many categories, but I want our team to go back to the World Series and be awesome, to go out my senior year winning the national championship. So I think that's my overall goal.
Now, a lot of Ashland students, a lot of people in the community haven't been out to Dodgers Field, and it gets windy there sometimes, then it'll stop being windy and it'll be sunny and then it'll be rain. What's it like playing in that type of atmosphere as your home field?
It's like Coach says, you got to be ready to play all the time. Even if it's raining or whatnot, when we're in classes it could be rainy or it could be sunny, but usually when we go out to Dodgers it's completely different. It is a lot windier, it's sometimes a lot colder, so you just always have to be prepared to play no matter what the conditions are.
Finally, you're a senior this year. What are your plans after you graduate?
Well, after I graduate, hopefully I keep up the success I have, and if I have any offers for baseball, I think I might give it a shot, and if not, I already have a backup plan. I have a job at Smucker's right now lined up. I've interned there for the past 2 summers, and they were going to let me start in mid-August, so when the interns go back to school, then I will start. And so I'll have a couple months off there in between, which if I get the shot, and if I don't play baseball, then I've already lined up a trip to go with my girlfriend, who I've been dating for a little over 5 years. We're going to go over to Europe, and then when we get back, I'll start work.
Okay. Well, thanks, Casey. You are now officially off the Game Time Spotlight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chip.
Yep. We'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Every trip, every time.
California, here I come!
Buckle up so you and your friends get home safely.
I must scream into the world from the top of someplace very high.
Seatbelts save lives.
Okay.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
Low and slow. Best friend, what are you going to do?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
That is spectacular advice.
Look, my first tooth.
Dudley, spit out the toothpaste. That was the first time you brushed your teeth.
And I brush twice a day, every day.
Oh, here's that nice dentist, Dr. Benchley.
Yep, he showed me how to floss.
Why are your teeth blue?
I use my mouth guard whenever I play sports to protect my smile.
And visit the dentist regularly.
Remember, brush twice a day and floss once a day.
Much like the baseball team, the softball team was also able to travel to Florida for spring break, and once again, much like the baseball team, they were very busy as they played in 12 games. The team traveled to Kissimmee, Florida to play those 12 games in 7 days in the Rebel Spring Games. The Eagles worked hard, played a lot, and relaxed a little en route to going 8-4 on the trip. They started their trip on Sunday as they played Nebraska-Omaha. AU was able to get their trip started off on the right note as they defeated them 3-2. Senior pitcher Jamie Williams pitched a 5-hitter with 10 strikeouts. The Eagles scored 3 runs in the 4th inning as Danielle Reichner and Jen Alderson had RBI singles, and Nicole Leonard tripled to drive in a run. Later that same day, the Eagles lost a tough one to California, PA that is. Freshman pitcher Samantha Hendricks threw a good game as she allowed just 2 hits and struck out 2, but Ashland was defeated 2-1. Their lone run came with Reichner grounded out to score Jill Aldering. Day 2 saw the Eagles win twice as first they defeated Minnesota State Moorhead 5-4 in 10 innings, and then returned later to crush UMass Lau 12-4 in a 5-inning game. The Eagles clinched the win in their first game when Kristen McGoffey drove in Williams for the winning run. Allardine, Alderson, and Reichner all had 2 hits in the game. Bree Beabout had a double in the game as Williams picked up the W. She pitched 5 innings. The second game was all Ashland as McGoffey continued her hot streak as she drove in a career-high 6 runs, all coming from the long ball. She connected on a grand slam and a 2-run homer. She also scored 2 runs as Allardine doubled and scored 3 times. Leonard doubled and drove in a run, and Reichner singled and knocked in a run. AU scored 10 runs in the first inning as Williams gave up 2 hits in 4 innings to notch the victory. And then on Tuesday, Wisconsin Parkside defeated AU 5-2. But the Eagles bounced back to win Game 2, 7-4 in 8 innings against Southwest Minnesota State. McGaughy kept her hot streak going as once again she had a big day. In the second game, she went 2 for 3 with a run-scoring double in the 4-run 8th inning. Also in the game, Leonard went 2 for 2, including a 2-run round-tripper, and Allardine went 2 for 4. In Game 2, Leonard and Alderson had 2-run singles, and Angie Weston-Kirchner singled to plate another run. Williams got the loss in the first game, but got the win in Game 2 as she came in relief, pitching 2 innings. Now on Wednesday, the Eagles got the day off. Were they able to keep up their winning ways after that short break, Brian?
The women continued their trip facing Minnesota State, Mankato, and Indianapolis on March 15th against Mankato. AU lost 8-1 as Kristen McGaughy homered to provide the lone run. In the second game, Jamie Williams threw a complete game shutout for Ashland as they won 4-0. Jen Alderson had a 2-run double, and Nicole Leonard had an RBI single. Williams allowed 1 hit, striking out 7. And the next day, AU's pitching stepped up as the Lady Eagles won twice, 3-0 over East Stroudsburg and 5-0 over Caldwell. Samantha Hendricks threw a complete game shutout against Caldwell. She allowed 4 hits, striking out 5. The Eagles put together 3 hits, scoring 3 runs in the first inning. March 17th saw Ashland drop a tough 1-0 decision to East Stroudsburg and pick up another shutout win 6-0. That's 1 run allowed in 4 games by the Eagles. That game was against Nova Southeastern. Against ESU, Williams went 6 innings, allowing a run on 5 hits while striking out 11. Ashland's bats were silenced, however, as they just got 3 hits and could not score. Against NSU, Kelly Williams got a rare start, but she went 6 innings, allowing just 2 hits and no runs. Hendricks came in to close the 7th, and she didn't get the save as she closed out the game. I don't know what I'm talking about. Alderson had 2 hits and 2 RBIs to lead the offense.
Well, after a brief stint back in Ashland, after the successful spring break in Kissimmee, Florida, the Ashland University softball team once again got back on the bus and traveled to Salem, Virginia this time for 5 games over this past weekend. After a rough first game loss, the Eagles returned to form and won the next 4 and returned home 4-1 on the road trip. In the 4 wins, AU was also able to win 4 region games, which will help their postseason chances. In the first game on Friday, the Eagles got behind early and were never able to bounce back as they were defeated 9-1 by USC Upstate. Ashland's lone run came in the 5th inning when senior Jill Allardine produced an RBI single to right to plate Shannon Gray. Later that day, the Eagles bounced back with a 6-5 victory over Shippensburg. Williams picked up the W as she threw a complete game, giving up 9 hits, 2 earned runs, and striking out 8. AU scored once in the second, twice in the third, and 3 times in the 5th. Allardine led the offensive attack with 2 hits, including a home run, 2 runs, and 2 RBI. Junior Danielle Reichner went 3 for 3 with an RBI, and junior Kristen McGaughy hit a round tripper and had 3 RBI.
She had a lot of home runs. After a night's rest, Ashland came out hitting everything as they scored 7 runs in the first inning en route to a 10-0 win over Shepherd. Williams and freshman Samantha Hendricks combined for a 3-hitter in the 5-inning game as they each struck out 3. Allardine went 4 for 4 from the plate with a double. Freshman Karen Hotchkiss had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and scored 2 runs. Senior Bree Beabout also had 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and Reichner had 2 RBIs. That's a lot of 2s. Beabout, Hotchkiss, junior Jennifer Alderson, and sophomore Ashley Evans all hit home runs for the Eagles. Ashland kept it rolling in Game 2 as they scored twice in the first inning and 3 times in both the third and the fourth on their way to a 9-1 victory. Williams earned yet another victory as she gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, and struck out 6. Beabout went 2 for 2 with 2 home runs and had 4 RBIs and scored 2 runs. Sophomore Nicole Leonard had 2 hits, including a double and 2 RBIs, and Allerding scored 2 runs. In the final game of the road trip, the Eagles scored 2 in the first 2 innings, and that was enough as they went on to win 4-1 against Charleston. Williams earned another victory as she improved her record to 12-2 as she gave up 7 hits, 1 run, and struck out 7. Alderson had a double and 2 RBIs. Beabout had a hit and 2 RBIs. Allerding, Evans, and junior Amanda Thomas also picked up hits for AU. The Eagles are now 15-6 and are playing a doubleheader at Northern Kentucky. The Eagles will play their first home games of the season this weekend as they open up their GLIAC schedule. Saginaw Valley State will come to town on Saturday for a doubleheader, and they will play Northwood on Sunday in a doubleheader.
Well, from swinging the bat to swinging the tennis racket we go. Several scores are just in from the women's tennis team in the past few weeks. Over spring break, the Eagles earned a big 9-0 victory over Greenville College. Single winners were Catherine Gowdy, Megan Stahl, Chelsea Guerin, Morgan Sanders, Krista Halicki, and Heather Preston. Doubles winners were Stahl and Gowdy, Guerin and Sanders, and Halicki and Preston.
Ashland went on to win the next match 6-3 over Macalester College. Stahl, Guerin, Sanders, and Halicki earned singles victories. Gowdy and Stahl and Guerin and Sanders earned the doubles wins.
The very next day, the Eagles returned to action and once again came away with a win, defeating Upper Iowa University 6-3. Once again, Stahl, Guerin, Sanders, and Halicki were the singles winners. Gowdy and Stahl and Guerin and Sanders also each earned doubles victories.
Ashland kept their winning streak alive as they defeated East Stroudsburg 7-2. Gowdy, Stahl, Guerin, Sanders, and Halicki all won singles. And once again, the teams of Gowdy and Stahl and Guerin and Sanders were victorious in doubles.
In their final match of spring break, the Eagles dropped a tough one to Slippery Rock as the lone win came from Guerin in singles. The Eagles then hosted Walsh University last Tuesday, but couldn't get the home win as they were defeated 7-2. Tess Hamilton earned a singles victory, and Guerin and Sanders earned a doubles victory. The Eagles are now 11-12 overall and will play at Ohio Northern tomorrow evening for their final match of the regular season. Wow, the spring sport teams are in full force right now, and I must say they're playing pretty well and have got us out of breath.
Yes.
Everyone should try to get out to at least once or twice, one or two games, and watch some AU athletics.
That's right, folks. I know a lot of you like to get a tan, and there's no better way than to get out and watch some quality Ashland athletic action.
And with that being said, it looks like another show is coming to a close. So sad. But quickly, before we go, March Madness. My bracket isn't good, but Ohio State is still in it. Can they do it, Vale?
Well, Trav, my bracket's not so hot either. I only have one team in my Final Four, and that's the team that I think is going to win the whole thing. And I still think that right now, I think it's Ohio State. I think that they'll beat Georgetown. Their guards are better than Georgetown's, and then I think they'll beat Florida in the title game. And, of course, you will have an up-close look at that game, won't you?
Same thing, yes. I will be at the game, so that'll be nice. And I would say Ohio State and Florida, another national championship. They just played... for the football, so hopefully the Buckeyes can get one now.
Right. Florida beat them by 26 earlier this year, so we'll see if they can make the comeback. But Odin and Ohio State, they're going to win the whole thing Monday night, April 2nd.
Well, you heard it here. Buckeyes all the way. We'll have to see, and obviously I will be seeing it live. Boy, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we know, Trav. You're sweet. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be coming back here in 3 weeks on April 18th for the second to last show of the year. And Travis?
Time is winding down, folks. We'll have highlights of spring sports as well as in-depth coverage of all of them. And once again, another AU athlete will be under the Game Time Spotlight with Chip Whipple.
Who could it be? All this is happening at the same time, same channel, so make sure you tune in.
Hope everyone is enjoying the weather, and we wish everyone a happy Easter. Thanks to the crew for a job well done, and we will see you in a few weeks.
Have a good night.